Welcome to Coach's Corner, everybody, in this Monday night Good and Faithful Servant show with Kerry Goode. That's right, my old teammate at Bama now has ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, and he and I do this faithful show where he weaves faith, family, and football and everything into the show. Thank you, Kerry, for doing this. Thank the AI technology where Kerry sends me his answers in his voice. He can't speak anymore because of his vocal cords, but he is wisdom filled. And let's get rolling for the first. Let's see. We're on day 119. Kerry breaks up his chapters in 196 days. So we're on 119, and he calls this chapter, "What are your expectations?" Excuse me. Expectations are a strong belief that something will happen or that it will be the case in the future. We all have expectations in our lives. What we want out of life, who we want to become. But I was caught off guard when a psychologist says, quote, "There are two ways to be happy, improve your reality or lower your expectations." Personally, I think that's so far from the truth. He went on to say, "I believe one of the keys to happiness lies within the management of your expectations of people and circumstances. If you do not have expectations, you can never be disappointed. Often we tend to believe that the way we treat others should the way we should be treated in return. But unfortunately, that does not always happen. I firmly believe that you have no expectations. If you have none for yourself, anyone, or anything, you're setting yourself up to be miserable. What if Coach Saban had no expectations with the University of Alabama football team? I can say with certainty that they wouldn't win many games. The attendance would dwindle and he would be fired. The psychologist also said expectations are premeditated resentments, to which I say no again. Like Coach Saban, I don't resent my children when they don't meet my expectations. We regroup and try harder. The goal of doing your best never changes, but merely expecting something to happen will not make it happen. You have to put in the work. You have to have faith in it happening, much like Mary had in Jesus when he turned water into wine. That's right, in John chapter 2, verse 1 through 11. Mary, Jesus' mother, was attending the wedding that ran out of wine. She came to Jesus and asked him to do something to help. Jesus replied by saying, "Woman, why do you involve me? My hour has not yet come." And as Mary turns to walk away, she says to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Jesus never said that he would do anything, and Mary had never seen or heard of Jesus performing any miracles yet. But Mary had faith and expectations that he would do something. That, my friends, is the definition of having high expectations, having a strong belief that something good will happen. Not only did he meet her expectations, he exceeded them. Your faith will never outgrow your expectations. My soul waits silently for God alone, for my expectation is from him. Psalms 62:5. All right, KG, I'm going to throw these questions at you. Number one, expectations or goals. Everyone should have them, I believe. Being happy and satisfied comes from doing your best, not from lowering your standard, so you settle for less. The psychologist advised to lower expectations is wrong. How can people succeed if we have low expectations?
Hey everybody, first off, thank you for tuning into the show. I know you could be anywhere right now, scrolling social media, watching reruns of Judge Judy, or trying to explain to your navigation system why take a left at the old Piggly Wiggly isn't a valid direction, but you chose to hang out with us, and I appreciate that. Now, Paul, my brother, you came out the gate swinging with this one about expectations. I mean, you dropped psychologist and Nick Saban in the same paragraph. Two folks known for giving advice that makes people either cry or win championships. See, I do not know what kind of psychologist that was, but if he really said lower your expectations, I hope he was not also a marriage counselor, because that sounds like a recipe for divorce and disappointment. Imagine your spouse saying, "Honey, I did not forget our anniversary. I just lowered my expectations for romance this year," and I could not agree more. If Coach Kalen DeBoer walked into that Alabama locker room and said, "Fellas, let's aim for mediocrity this season," the entire state would shut down like Waffle House before a hurricane. Expectations are what keep folks grinding, praying, and believing they can turn water into wine, or at least losing seasons into playoff runs. Well, faith and expectations go hand in hand. You can't pray for a harvest if you never planted any seeds. You can't expect a touchdown if you never left the sideline. The problem isn't having expectations, it's expecting without participation. You still gotta block, tackle, and show up in the fourth quarter. So yeah, I'm with you. Oh, high expectations aren't the problem. They're the fuel. Just don't confuse them with entitlement. God honors effort and faith, not laziness wrapped in optimism. Because as I always say, if you aim low, you'll never have to duck. But if you aim high, you just might touch heaven on the way up. Now somebody pass me some of that fine wine Faith Mary was sipping on, because these expectations, they're vintage.
Vintage for sure. Expectations which keep you people praying, believing water can be turned into wine, believing you have a playoff team. You can't expect a TD if you never get off the sidelines. All right, Kerry, psychologists also say expectations are premeditated resentments. You gave an example when your children disappoint us. We regroup and we try harder. Is a psychologist talking about high expectations from people like, oh, when Coach Bryant would call them turds, somebody who were quitters, jerks, somebody like that? Is that what he's talking about?
Oh, now, Paul, you done stirred the pot with that one. I'm telling you, between Paul's questions and Coach Bryant's quotes, this episode might need its own halftime show. Now, that phrase right there, expectations are premeditated resentments. Lord have mercy. That sounds like something folks say right after their team loses a game they were bragging about all week. But you bring up a good point. Oh, I do not think the psychologist was talking about the kind of expectations we have for people who try. I think he was talking about when we expect championship behavior from folks who have not even made it through practice without quitting. You know, the Coach Brian turds, the jerks, quitters, and folks who think effort is optional. See, when you expect greatness from a turd, you're really just setting yourself up for a mess, and not the kind you can clean up with paper towels. Coach Bryant had it right. He didn't resent the turds. He just didn't build his program around them. He said, if you're not going to give effort, there's the door, and don't let the hound stoop hit you on the way out. Now, as for our kids, that's a different story. When they fall short, it's not resentment, it's relationship. We regroup, we coach up, and we go again. But when someone shows you that they're allergic to effort, that's when you stop expecting touchdowns from somebody still fumbling with the playbook. So, to answer your question, oh, yeah, I think that psychologists must spend a little too much time counseling turds because the rest of us, we still believe in high expectations, race, and accountability. You can't win championships, raise strong kids, or build faith on low standards. And as Coach Bryant would say, it ain't the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. Unless, of course, the dog's a turd, then it's just gonna bark excuses.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Something something different, Kerry pointed out. With kids, it's a different story, he says. Interesting, Kerry differentiates between children and adult expectations. Stop expecting touchdowns from someone who's fumbling with the playbook, Kerry says. So, yeah, two kinds of people. One with high expectations, one without. And you can't expect anything who has low expectations from anyone else. Question 3, KG. John, chapter 2, verse 1 through 11. Mary asked Jesus to do something at the wedding when they ran out of the wine. She did not badger him with his reaction when it was stoic. She trusted him, even without witnessing any miracles up to that point. Talk more about this kind of expectation, KJ.
Well, Paul, now you're preaching instead of asking questions. I love it. And to everyone listening, thank White all again for hanging out with us. I hope White all brought your notepads because this one right here is a masterclass in faith and expectation. Now, let's talk about Mary at that wedding in John chapter 2. The woman didn't just show up for a good time. She came with a quiet confidence that could move mountains, or in this case, refill empty wine jars. When the wine ran out, she didn't panic, she didn't gossip, and she didn't start a GoFundMe. She simply looked at Jesus and said, they're out of wine. Now that's powerful, because when Jesus responded with what seemed like a polite no, Mary didn't argue. She didn't stomp her foot. She didn't say, boy, do not forget who changed your diapers. She He just turned to the servants and said, "Do whatever he tells you." That's not nagging, that's knowing. See, Mary had no record of miracles to lean on. Jesus hadn't healed anybody, fed 5,000, or walked on water yet, but she expected greatness because she knew who he was. That's faith before proof. That's belief without evidence. That's the kind of expectation that does demand performance. It simply trusts the promise. And here's the beauty of it. Jesus didn't just meet her expectation. He blew it out the water. He turned water into the finest wine ever poured, setting the tone for every miracle that followed. That's what happens when your expectation is rooted in faith instead of frustration. So when life runs out of wine, or strength, or options, remember Mary, do not badger God with fear. Trust him with faith. Expect him to move, even if you have not seen him do it yet. Because faith does say, "Show me and they'll believe." Faith says, "I believe, and they'll wait for you to show me." That, my friends, is what I call high expectations with holy confidence.
Oh, man. Mary didn't panic, gossip, or start a fund me account. They had faith. Faith before proof. Belief without evidence. Jesus didn't just meet our expectations. He blew it out of the water. This is what happens here in your expectations are rooted in faith instead of frustration. There is a difference in show me and I'll believe, and I'll believe and will wait for you to show me. Great stuff, Kerry. Wow. All right, I'm going to let you summarize it and wrap up the show.
Right, family. Let's wrap this thing up before Paul asks another question that makes me break out my Bible, my playbook, and my blood pressure medicine all at once. So here's the summary. In question 1, we decided that lowering your expectations is about as useful as showing up to football practice in flip-flops. If Coach Debo or Nick Saban had low expectations, Bryant Denny would be emptier than a salad bar after church on Sunday. Expectations don't break you, they build you, especially when faith is part of the game plan. Then in question 2, we dove into that whole expectations are premeditated resentments thing. And I said, no, that's just what happens when you expect greatness from folks Coach Brian Wald called turds. You can't expect a touchdown from somebody who's allergic to effort. When people show you who they are, stop handing them the ball and hoping for a miracle. And in question 3, we talked about Mary at the wedding. That woman didn't panic, didn't argue, didn't even pout. She just said, "Jesus, they're out of wine," and then walked away like, "Yes, got it handled." That's the kind of faith that does flinch. She hadn't seen a single miracle yet, but she expected one anyway, and boom, the best wine this side of heaven showed up. So here's the moral of the story, folks. Set your expectations high. Keep your faith higher. And if life starts running out of wine, don't panic. Just hand it over to Jesus and let him handle the catering. This is Coach Goode signing off, reminding why all that faith without expectation is like Alabama football without a game plan. And ain't nobody got time for that. Stay blessed. Stay faithful. And for heaven's sake, keep your expectations good and high.
Coach Goode, man, thanks for being a coach for our souls and our emotions. Thanks again for doing this show. Keep your expectations good and high. He says, a master course in faith and expectations. Folks, share this episode. Anybody that you know, share it, put it on your Facebook page and send it out through YouTube, whatever you can. Share this message from Kerry because this messages are powerful. And I'm so thankful he's able to do this show. Hope everybody got something out of it. Have a great sports week, everybody. Stay tuned for these great messages. Without these sponsors, this just wouldn't be possible. This episode is brought to you by Sandy Sansing Chevrolet. So long, everybody.
When it comes to buggies and golf carts, nobody does it like Buggy Works. Hi, I'm JP Wibbs. We've got the largest selection of golf carts on the Gulf Coast. We have a brand new 10,000 square foot state-of-the-art service center and showroom to keep you rolling. We're right here in the heart of Car City at 5831 Pensacola Boulevard. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays 9 to 3. Check us out at buggyworks.com. Buggy Works. Come by and see why we're the #1 Denago dealer in the nation.
When it comes to buying your next car, truck, or SUV, you need a team that puts you first. Here at the Sandy Sansing dealerships, we're proud to serve Pensacola and the Gulf Coast with the best selection, trusted service, and deals that work for your family. Just like great coaches build great teams, Sandy Sansing builds lasting relationships with every customer who walks through our doors. Because when it comes to finding your next vehicle, there's only one name to remember. Sandy Sansing can.
For 30 years, you have seen the orange Beck signs all over the Gulf Coast listing a property for sale or lease. Beck Partners is your trusted advisor in commercial real estate, property management, commercial and personal insurance. Senior Vice President David Valletto has been with Beck Partners since 1989. Take advantage of his wealth of knowledge by calling him today at 982-7352. 982-7352. Extensive experience in all aspects of leasing, sales, management, and site selection will make sure your expectations are exceeded.
My name is Steve Reynolds. I'm the manager and owner of Cordova Lanes, and we help keep your mind out of the gutter. Cordova Lanes is part of the community of Pensacola. Being here for 43 years, we've entertained more people than any other bowling center in the city. We sell fun for a living. Cordova Lanes is located at 2111 Airport Boulevard in Pensacola, behind Cordova Mall. Come on out and see us at Cordova Lanes Bowling Center. Thank you.
There's a reason why Hill Kelly in Pensacola is the #1 selling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealer between Jacksonville and New Orleans. While other dealers have taken advantage of a competitive market with higher prices, Hill Kelly has discounted prices to the lowest of the year. And Hill Kelly in Pensacola won't surprise you with excessive charges beyond the selling price. Come see why people from Milton, Pace, Foley, Bay Minette, Daphne, Gulf Shores, Mobile, and beyond are driving to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to buy their next new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram. At Hill Kelly, the bottom line price and your satisfaction are what really matter. So before you sign, check the bottom line and make the trip to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to see what true local ownership can do for you. At Hill Kelly Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Highway 29 in Car City, Pensacola. Or shop online 24/7 at hillkellydodge.com. When it comes to bottom line pricing, nobody beats a Hill Kelly deal. Nobody.
Arbitrium Consulting for all your fencing, landscaping, pressure washing, tree trimming needs. Call 850-483-0350 for your free estimates. Serving Pensacola, Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, Destin, Perdido, Gulf Shores, Foley, and the entire Gulf Coast. Arbitrium Consulting is owner-operated, fully licensed and insured. Call today, 850-483-0350, the official landscaper of Coach's Corner.
Did you know there's a place where you can get good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates on your home and auto insurance? Yep, and that place is, ta-da, State Farm. Here's the deal. State Farm agent Will Rentschler is your go-to agent in Pensacola, Florida for the service you deserve at the price that you want. So stop shopping around. State Farm agent Will Rentschler has you covered. Call 850-433-4678 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Legal disclaimer, individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Hey, Bama fans, this is Will Moore, president of the Pensacola Bama Club. You can find us at PensacolaBamaClub.com. We are your official alumni chapter in the Pensacola and surrounding areas. Membership is available to all alumni and all Bama fans, so come see us at one of our many events throughout the year. Our Bama football watch parties are the next best thing to being in Bryant-Denny Stadium. We even serve authentic stadium hot dogs. Membership, event, and contact information will be found on our website at PensacolaBamaClub.com. Roll Tide.